love, what's up? Welcome to Confidently Uncomfortable. I'm your host, Jago, health and lifestyle coach and not so regal confidence queen. Coming at you with the real, the raw, and of course, the uncomfortable. My mission is to show you that to be confident, it has absolutely nothing to do with being perfect or having it all together, and everything to do with you getting uncomfortable and pushing your limits. Thanks for joining me. Let's dive in. All right, honesty hour. I have been putting off recording this episode because I am sharing, where I'm at right now personally. And I wasn't sure exactly how deep I wanted to go with it, how raw I was going to get. And you know what? I realized I'm like, fuck it. I'm not going to filter this. I'm going to be super open. And honestly, it's because I know there is someone listening right now that needs to hear this, that needs the permission to slow down. And that is what I'm going to talk about today. So in case you missed it, I'm taking a break from social media, and I'm really excited, but it's also something that's a little bit unknown. I've been in the fitness industry for over a decade now, which is wild. I feel a little old. I've been in the fitness industry for over a decade. I've been in the online coaching realm for over 5 years, I think now, almost 5 years, somewhere in that realm. And I have not taken more than maybe a week off of social media. And the last time I took a week off of social, it was, I remember this specifically because I was so intentional and I thought I was moving mountains. I thought I was so amazing that I was doing this. And basically it was, there was 1 week in our Thailand trip. If y'all don't know, me and my husband, Tom, went to Thailand for our honeymoon, but we went for a month, and I took 1 week off completely so that it could be our quote unquote honeymoon period and be very present and not do the whole laptop lifestyle where I was working while I was traveling. I was very present that 1 week. And that was 4 years ago. So that's crazy to think about. The thing about this, I am not going to filter stuff. I'm going to be super honest because I'm still processing the fact that I needed this break. I didn't even realize it until I actually took the time for myself. So y'all know that I had the Go Love Yourself challenge, and I had talked about it on the podcast here, and it was a self-love challenge, but also a couples challenge. And I'm so glad that I did it. I'm so glad that I shared that with y'all because that was the first step for myself to reassess and look at where I'm at and how I'm doing, taking care of myself. And I'm also really glad I made a couples component. I would love to hear from y'all, your experience with that challenge. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I'm actually creating it into an evergreen, free 5-day challenge so that if anyone else wants to do it, they can benefit from it since it really helped me. But basically I did this and it really opened up great conversation with my husband, with Tom, and then great conversation with myself. I had been doing a lot for everyone else and not a lot for myself. And it's a coping mechanism, y'all. I do that whenever I am struggling because it is a lot easier for me to focus on helping other people because it helps me forget about where I'm struggling, right? Helps me forget about things that I need to focus on. And I did this, I remember, my Nana passed away, y'all, Christmas Day, December. Oh gosh, I'm recording this. Oh, that's so weird. Okay. It's February 25th when I'm recording this because I'm late and I was supposed to record it way earlier for my amazing podcast editor. But that's, December, that's 2 months since my Nana passed away. And I basically, helped my family and was very supportive of helping them through everything, and my amazing mom and helping her through processing this and being there for my papa. And I did that because it helped me not have to think about it myself. And I thought about it, but I didn't really process everything. And then I talked about this in January, that it really it really made me think about life, right? Death really makes you think about life. And it made me think about, all that I'm doing in this life and the stress, the day-to-day stress that I find myself in, the day-to-day, comparison or anxiety around like, I didn't get everything done on my to-do list, or I'm struggling to show up in all of these different platforms. Like, y'all, it's like I turn around and there's always a new platform. It's TikTok, it's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's email, it's podcast, it's everything, right? And I want to be able to show up for everyone. I want to be able to help people in different ways, however they learn. Some people are visual learners. Some people love listening to podcasts. Some people love reading, my posts, and I want to be able to help everyone. But I was neglecting to help myself at this point. And what I mean by that is, I didn't completely, let myself go in the sense of like I wasn't taking care of my basic needs. Luckily, because I've created these habits and routines, a lot of that is just second nature for me. And I'm very, very lucky because 5 years ago, even a year ago, if I had not focused on my self-care routine and made it a part of like my regular habits that I'm doing like non-negotiable, it would have been a lot worse than where I'm at now. Now I'm in a good place. I'm actually like doing great right now. I feel really good. I've been having really, really great coaching calls with my clients. I've been really having some great me time with myself when it comes to like journaling and visualizing my future and getting excited about that and manifesting some really cool stuff that's already coming together. So I'm already confirmed in the fact that like I'm meant to take this break. And so March 1st is when this episode is supposed to launch. And at that point, I'm going to be stepping away from social media. And I felt super lame. I felt so lame announcing that I was going to be taking a break from social media. Like, y'all, I felt so lame because I'm like, the ego of like, wow, I need to announce that I'm going to be stepping away and not, why no one cares. And, all those voices start to come up into your head of like, who are you? Like, why do you think that's important? And then I realized the reason I wanted to talk about it for a week before I actually jumped off and took time off of social media was I felt like there are some other people out there who needed a break as well, who need to slow down their brain and who needed to take a step away from all this consumption and screen time. And whether you are a creator and a coach, or you're just not, you're someone who just has found themselves, on social media a lot more than normal, I wanted to share kind of like where I'm at right now, why I decided to, take a break, what that may or may not look like for me, and then things I'm doing to prepare for this next chapter. So, actually today, I think it's today, I am 90 days away from my 30th birthday. Whew. So that kind of kicked this off too. I have a lot of different life change going on right now. I've had a lot of loss, a lot of grief, a lot of, acceptance and a lot of reflection, and it's making me want to do it even more because I realize the more that I slow down and look within, the more aligned I feel. And I think so often we look outward for approval, right? Like we want to make a decision on a job or breaking up with a partner or I don't know, making any basic decision, and we immediately want to call on someone and have them basically confirm what we should do. Tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. I've literally had coaching calls where clients are like, Jago, just tell me what to do. And I'm like, that is not why I'm here. I'm here to help you see the strength within you. I'm here to help facilitate the questions that you need to ask yourself in order to find the path within. Okay. And that's something that I think a lot of us don't do enough of is looking within. We really try and look outward for approval. And I've realized more and more that like there is it's empty. If you're constantly looking for approval from others, if you're constantly trying to keep up with what everyone else is doing, if you're constantly trying to feel like you're enough based on like some outward scale or timeline, you will feel empty every time. Even as you level up, even as you grow, even as you reach new heights and reach new goals and become successful, if you are solely putting your worth in everyone's acceptance, you're going to find yourself feeling so empty. And I learned that, I've learned that the hard way, but this time around, I feel so much better because I'm recognizing things in myself so much sooner before I get into some spiral, before I get into like a negative space. And it's a really cool place to be. And so that's why I wanted to share with you all what I'm doing, because maybe you've been feeling this way too. Maybe you've been feeling a little burnt out, or maybe you've been feeling almost numb to your environment. I talked about this actually today, how I wanted to say that I've been feeling burnt out. I've realized it's less that of feeling burnt out and more of just feeling like a numbness, like I'm almost was going through the motions, but I wasn't fully present. And I had talked about being present in your body and reconnecting with your body. And then I started to realize that I wasn't doing that for myself. And it took me, going through a season of loss, going through a season of like, really wondering like, what is my next step? Like, God, what do you want from me? I don't know what's next for me. And that helped me realize that like, if I wanted to grow deeper in myself, I gotta slow down. I gotta stop, trying to do all the things for everyone all the time. And that means like a big part of it is social media. So what do I mean by that is like, I spend a lot of time on social media. Like it would probably scare you if I pulled up my screen time. Oh man. I mean, Instagram alone is probably like 5 hours a day, maybe. I don't know. Like I'm writing posts on there. I'm like replying to DMs, which I love. I love when y'all DM me. Honestly, like that's the reason that I don't even want to leave Instagram, is because the connections I've made on there are amazing. Like they're so real. And that's the stuff I care about, is like, I think that there's a reason I'm in this space, is because we need more real connection. We need more vulnerability and transparency, because I'm seeing everyone not only put filters on their face, but put filters on their lives. And I'm sick of it. I'm not going to do it anymore. And I don't think you should either. You shouldn't feel bad for the shit that's going on in the background, because most likely the things you're seeing going on in other people's lives, that's just the surface. So all that to say, I've decided to take a break and I'm prioritizing my own needs. When I think about my priorities, I think about my family, I think about myself, and I think about my clients, because, they're making an investment in their transformation and I want to fully support that. So those are like the biggest things for me. So that means sometimes having to put some other things on the back burner, but intentionally doing it. I think if we don't do that intentionally, then something has got to give otherwise. And it's usually ourselves, right? If I kept going at the rate that I was going, I was not going to be showing up for myself. I was going to be really struggling. It would have ended up in like burnout, or where I'd be sick, or like, you get to that point where you're running yourself ragged and you're doing all the things all the time and you're splitting your time 50 different ways and you're wanting to please everyone. And then you sit down one day and you realize you weren't pleasing yourself at all. You were struggling and you didn't even know why you were doing the things you were doing. I didn't want to get to that point because I've been there in the past and it's not fun. So if you feel like you're at that point, I want to tell you that this is your permission slip to slow down and take some time for yourself. And I know in this day and age, it can feel like if you're trying to go forward and you're trying to progress, you can't slow down. Like if you slow down, you're going to be behind. You're going to lose out. You're going to have FOMO. Like you're going to miss out on something if you take a step back. And the truth is sometimes exactly what you need is to slow down in order to go forward. And I realized that in my own life, and I want to share that with you so that you realize you can do the same. And, I literally had this happen in my life where I recognized I needed this. I decided to share it with you all because I think it's a good lesson. I want to be transparent and super honest with you all so that you can go through this too. But also I came to this realization and I was journaling about it and basically asking for confirmation from God, the universe. seriously, I asked, if this is what I'm supposed to do, I need some sort of confirmation from you. And y'all know I have a tattoo of butterflies. So I saw 3 butterflies that day, which is weird because it's February. And then I had a couple people reach out to me about working with them focused on life coaching and one-on-one. And it just helped me realize that it was okay for me to say no to something in order to create space for a yes. And by doing this, it made it such a better fit. And the truth is, if I had not let go and slowed down, I wouldn't have been able to connect with those people. I wouldn't have been able to, have clarity about what some of my next steps should be. And I think so many of us are looking for permission to slow down. And the truth is, in capitalism in America, especially, you are not going to get a permission slip to slow down. You are always going to feel behind. Basically, you're being gaslit this year because in 2020, maybe you were more productive because you literally couldn't leave your home. And now 2021, 2022, they expect that same kind of, workmanship, of complete dedication to your job, when really our life should not just be about working until we're 50 years old and that's it. That shouldn't be the way that we live. And yet it is so accepted as a normal reality that when I even question it, other people will think I'm crazy. If you've questioned this ever, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not crazy. If you've been feeling like you need a break from all the social media you've been consuming, I want to challenge you to take this break with me. Now, I want you to do it in a way that feels aligned with you. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. So write them down, take a second. You can pause this and grab your notes or your journal and write this down. I want you to ask yourself, how are you feeling? What do you need right now? And then what would you do right now if you broke up with all the shoulds going on in your head? What I mean by that is if you think, I should be doing more of this. I should be posting more. I should be cleaning my room. I should be, calling this person more often. I should be working later. Everyone else is. All of those shoulds that go on in our head that are really just guilting us into doing stuff that we actually don't want to do with our time, right? So I want you to take some time and journal on that. Those are things I did, and it really helped me break up with the pressure of thinking I had to do certain things just because that's the way it's done. It doesn't have to be that way. You get to choose. You really get to choose. I promise. You still have a choice, even when you're in a situation where you feel like you don't. You do. Absolutely do. You can take a break. You can step away. You can slow down. I promise you can, even if you feel like you can't. So this exercise really, really was an eye-opener for me. I just realized at that point, after writing those things down, that I needed a break. I was asking myself, hey, can we slow down? Can we press pause for a second? Because I felt like I was a hamster wheel and I felt like I just couldn't slow down. But even as I was going forward and doing all the things, I wasn't actually going forward in anything. I was just kind of staying in one place. And, by taking time for myself, it really, really helped me find clarity. So I'm telling you to take time to listen to yourself and your desires. Even if you have all of these goals and you're super driven and you have a lot going on, you don't have to constantly stay in that lane of hustle culture. Even if everyone around you is in that space, you don't have to. I promise you, you don't have to. You can choose to step out. That's why I'm choosing to slow down and prioritize myself. And these are the kinds of things that I'm doing during my break on social media. Okay, how am I preparing for it? Number 1, I am auditing my current screen time. So like I said, y'all, it was scary how much I'm on social media for my job and then also for fun. I love social media. It's fun. I really, really like TikTok. I love Instagram. But I'm spending a lot of time on those platforms, right? I'm spending a lot of time on them. And even with the boundaries that I have of not taking my phone to bed and not getting, on my phone for too long of a period, it still turns into a majority of my day is spent on a screen. So asking myself, how much time have I invested in social media and what will I do with that time once I remove the apps? So if you're really going to take a break with me, I highly recommend that you take the apps off of your phone, because it's been ingrained in us as a habit to immediately grab our phone and click on those notifications, right? To click on those apps because of the way that these apps are created to become addictive. So highly recommend getting those off. I will tell you, if you are a content creator or you have any videos in your drafts, your draft section of your TikTok or Reels, please save those, because once you delete the app from your phone, those things will be gone. I have made that mistake before and I don't want you to do that. So before you delete them, just do that. A little fun fact. Number 2, what am I doing to prep for this? I'm setting intentions for the next 90 days. I chose 90 days because I do 90-day intensives with my Body Confident Blueprint program. So with my clients, I work with everyone no less than 3 months. Most of my people sign on with me for another 3. They're usually working with me 6 months on average or more. And that is because long-term lifestyle change doesn't happen overnight. The habits, the mindsets, the things that you're working on, it's going to take a while to reprogram your mind, to reprioritize your actions and what you're doing for your life and how you're showing up. So I'm doing this for myself for the next 90 days. And I'm choosing this because I'm turning 30, like I said, on May 22nd, 2022. I'm super pumped because it's the 22nd on 2022. It just feels very aligned. And it's helping me refocus just for the next 90 days of like, hey, this is my 90-day journey. This is what I'm going to be focusing on. Radical self-care. I'm going to be really showing up for myself, my family, and my clients. And I'm going to be sharing this journey, whatever it means as far as time away from social media. The important thing about this is a lot of times whenever we're trying to break a habit, we often gravitate towards restriction. So for example, when we're trying to maybe eat less candy or less sugar, our main, like what we usually do is, okay, I'm going to do a sugar detox. I'm going to cut out all sugar. Or if we want to get rid of, I don't know, Lent is coming up at some point, right? We give up things for Lent and we're like, I'm going to give up this completely. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have 0 alcohol. I'm going to have 0 chocolate. I'm going to have 0 TV, whatever. And y'all know how I feel about restriction. I think that often leads to flip into the other side of things. Basically, if you're restricting yourself, you end up gravitating towards the other direction once you let any of that back in your life. So I don't want you to take this as like a 30-day detox, right? I'm not putting a time constraint or rules on how I do or don't take a break from social media. What that looks like for me could look very different from what it looks like for you. I know that I'm going to commit to at least like 2 to 4 weeks without the apps on my phone. And I do have an amazing speaking event happening at the end of March. And we just set up a virtual ticket option to where you can show up for the Women on the Move conference. I'm super pumped about it. Like I really love the women that are going to be speaking as well. And they're doing a virtual conference because they sold out. They sold 250 tickets for the live conference in like 2 days, I think. It was like so fast. And so they decided, people asked for a virtual option. And a lot of my clients are across the country in different parts of the world. So for them to be able to buy a virtual ticket, I'm pretty pumped about it. So I might show up and like share about that. But I'll also put the link here for the virtual tickets if that's something you're interested in. But I just want to release expectations and give myself grace for this detox, because it's not a detox. Damn it. I used the word because it was right in front of me. But what I mean by it is that I am going to take a break, but I'm not going to put a number on how long I'm going to be gone. You know, I just know that during this time, I'm going to be reflecting on how I want to find balance in the social media world, what boundaries I'd like to set for myself going forward, how I want to show up, what I want to share with you all, and what you all want me to share, because you know, I don't want to be giving you guys content that is not relevant to you, that doesn't really make you feel lifted up, that doesn't really help educate you, inform you, give you any kind of growth in your own self-love journey, because I want you to find self-love and confidence through what I'm sharing. And sometimes I think if we're trying to keep up with the trends and we're trying to post all the time, we can lose the why behind the message. And I don't want that to be the case when I'm sharing stuff with you. I want to come from a fully intentional place for y'all. Also, during this time, I'm very excited because I'm going to be focusing more on my podcast, literally hanging out with y'all here on the podcast. I feel the most aligned when I'm here. So thank you for being here. Thank you for those of you who, listen every week, who show up and share these episodes with friends, who write reviews. Y'all, I read the reviews and I save them in a little folder because they make me so happy when people write these reviews, like these 5-star reviews on Apple, I think is one of the main places you can do podcast reviews. But it just makes me feel very, very loved and in a really good space. And so that's why I'm going to continue doing podcasting, because it lights me up. It really brings out the people who are ready to take these steps in their life, who are ready to start creating change, who are ready to listen and, start living the life the way that they know they're meant to be. It's when you're in the social media realm, it's not bad, but I do think it's constantly, your attention is being pulled in a million other directions, and it can feel like you're consuming so much information, but retaining none of it. Have you ever noticed that? You're like on social media or scrolling and you maybe even saved some articles or you liked some things, but then you really couldn't even regurgitate that information if a friend asked you about it later. Right? You're like, I'll just send it to you, because you can't necessarily regurgitate it. You just knew it made you feel good, right? You knew it made you laugh or made you feel educated, but you're not really taking it in. And that's why I love this platform, because I really feel like y'all are sitting with me right now in the closet while I'm recording this episode. I feel like we're getting a cup of coffee together and we're just chatting as friends and being real about what's going on in our lives. And I love when y'all will email me or DM me and on Instagram and let me know how these episodes have impacted you. So y'all are really my why for continuing with this podcast. I love it. I love the support. I love the atmosphere. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so, so much. So I will be continuing with these podcasts and diving deeper into my speaking career as well. I have loved the amount of times I've been asked to go speak at an event or on a panel, and I just feel very called to continue to do this. I'm speaking it out now into the world because I know that it's meant to be. I just feel it in my bones. I'm speaking it out now. That's how I feel about things. So if you know of any events, conferences, panels, looking for a speaker, seriously hit me up, shoot me an email, because I would love to hear from you. I would love to, connect with other people who want to start making a difference, like similar to the values that I have here. So this time really is meant for me to step outside the day-to-day social media stream and into my stream of consciousness. And so I want you to step away from distraction and step into your destination, your desires, what truly, truly matters to you. And I think if we're constantly consuming what other people are telling us, it makes it really hard for us to figure out what alignment means to us. So it can be scary going into this next chapter. If you're taking this step, I'm excited. Remember, it can look different for everyone. Maybe you just take a weekend, like just the weekends off of social media, and you just take the apps off your phone on the weekends, and that's good enough for you right now. That's great. Maybe you're like, I just want to take a week off and see how I feel. Awesome. That's great. Take a week off with me. I'm starting on March 1st. Or maybe you're like, I just want to delete them and not think about them right now. That's awesome. I'm just glad we're connected on this platform because I'd miss you. But there's a lot of fear sometimes in taking that step. There's a lot of fear in slowing down and letting go. And the truth is, I feel it too. But what I've learned is there really might be something on the other side of letting go. But because you're so stuck in controlling what you have now and holding on to it, you're not releasing into what could be. Let me repeat that again. There might be something on the other side of letting go. And because you're so stuck in controlling what you have right now, you're not releasing into what could be. Right on the other side of you letting go is infinite possibilities. I've seen this, I don't know, it was like a meme, and it was God, and he was trying to take this little bear from this little kid, and the girl is like, don't take it from me. It's like my favorite bear. I love it. Please, no. I really, really don't want you to do that. And behind him is this giant teddy bear, right? It's huge. It's like, would be more than you could even imagine in a teddy bear. And he's like, just trust me. Just trust me. And that is what I feel like my life is right now. And maybe you're feeling that too, is just letting go and trusting that exactly what's supposed to come to me will come. It's a beautiful and scary place to be, but I'm confidently uncomfortable that this is going to be fine. It's going to be great. It's going to be better than fine. It's going to create some beautiful things over the next 30 to 90 days. And I'm excited to share that with you on this journey. Basically, this podcast and my email list is going to be an open book. I'm going to be sharing all the shit I'm going through. I'm going to be talking about my journey. I'm going to be giving you things and exercises to work on your own as you go through your own journey, and just being super vulnerable about where I'm at too. So if you want to join, please join me. I actually have some journal prompts that you can download called 31 Journal Prompts to Cultivate Confidence. I'll put them in the show notes, but you can literally do it for the month of March, right? You can start with me on the 1st and do a journal prompt every single day. And that's a really good way to connect with yourself. Whether you do or don't take a break from social media, please do that journal challenge. I think it would be really good for you. But thank y'all for letting me be vulnerable as usual. I appreciate you listening, and it means so much. Reach out to me on email. Let me know, what you got out of this episode, where you're at mentally as far as where I'm at. Now you know, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks again for listening to Confidently Uncomfortable. I love being able to connect with you here, and honestly, don't want it to end. So head over to my Facebook group, Body Confident Blueprint, and be sure to follow me on Insta at JGoFitLife. Also, if you're ready to get real confidently uncomfortable, go leave this podcast a 5-star review and email me the review screenshot, support@jgofit360.com, for a chance to win a free 30-minute fitness audit and goal setting session. I appreciate your support. See you next time.